It's very important. We're at Independence Day. And when we think about it, we've been taxed without representation here in the city. We've seen gentrification of over 300, 400,000 people in the city of Detroit. I grew up on the east side of Detroit. I started from nothing. A wholesale distributor selling to chain stores as a young man. I've been in all the groups, organizations, from the NAACP, Nation of Islam, Black Panthers, from the time of 12 years old. I've been a fighter all my life. I'm a legacy Detroiter, and I'm a legend Detroiter. I've opened doors that no one else has opened. I've done 15 international trade delegations, by the way. Detroit needs international and domestic business coming to diversify our economy. So I want to make sure that we understand what it's going to take to bring about economic justice here in the city of Detroit. Our problems must be solved by someone that has the ability to bring revenue into our city treasury to improve the quality of life for everybody here in the city of Detroit. So Joel Haashiim is a business person. I'm not a career government worker. I'm not a career politician. I bring real solutions to the city of Detroit. And so I want to make sure that we thank the people, Coalition for Tax Justice, for the opportunity. Thank you so much for allowing us to come. For all that has happened here in the city of Detroit, not only do we need integrity, transparency, honesty, being courageous, I want to make sure that this never happens in the city of Detroit. So I want to bring Coalition for Tax Justice and other advocates, groups, to the table. So that as we address this issue, we do it in such a way as to make sure that it never happens again. Because when we don't get the full transparency, then of course, at some point in time, it happens over and over and over. And that's what gentrification and other systems has continually happened throughout the Black community, not only in this country, but here in Detroit, over and over and over. So to put a solution to it, well, I want to bring everybody to the table. I want also our law department to oversee the process, the tax assessor's office, and making sure that if we're representing the people, that the people sitting at the table and know exactly what's going on step by step by step. We must eradicate this problem to make sure it never happens again. That's the main idea.
I'll repeat it. So, Council President Sheffield, thank you for joining.
Okay. First of all, I think if we really did a true assessment, I think we're going to find that total is over $1 billion. I think the $600 million over tax assessment is what they admitted to. And so I think it's very important that we really understand that that figure of $600 million, that's minimal. Also, I think what we need to do to make sure that our residents are that are compensated, those that lost their homes and had to leave the city, I think we need to have an invitation for them to get housing in the city of Detroit, priority. One of the things that I'm speaking about is bringing in a new industry in Detroit, which is housing. We need mass production housing manufacturing. And so those people can be on that list to be some of the first people to have an opportunity to get a new home here in the city of Detroit. I think that's what's fair, that's what's right to do. Those people who are still in the city, well, they already have a priority on some city programs. So here again, I think I'll bring Coalition for Tax Justice and other groups together and speaking to the people to see what would be fair and how we can improve giving them what they have lost. I think the most important thing, if you're for the people, that you're bringing the people in at every interval to make sure that everybody is in harmony with the process and being compensated fairly. At the same time, to make sure that it does not happen again, I want to make sure that we bring our law department in to oversee our tax assessor's office and look at this whole process to make sure that these type of things never happen again. Sir. If the contractor cannot fulfill the contract on time, they don't get paid. That's how you make sure the report or the study is timely. If you don't do that, then you're going to keep getting the same thing over and over and over. That's the reality of what has been happening in Detroit. So at the same time, to make people accountable, you've got to go to put the law department, put someone in the law department overseeing the tax assessor's office and making sure that here again, we're going to wrap our arms around the people, and these groups and organizations need to be at the table every step of the way. This is the only way you're going to be able to protect the people. Also, when you talk about moratoriums and codes and statutes, no, we need homeowners law in Detroit to make sure that our citizens never ever gets their property over tax assessed, lose their property. We need laws that are going to be surely implemented. And one more thing, when you're on city council, you have a lot of power, and you have the power of the purse string. And when you want the mayor to do something that's important for the people, you hold back the spending, right? He has to what? Sit down and negotiate and make sure that the people become the priority. Strong leadership is the most important thing, and the only reason why these situations happen is because of weak leadership. Take it for what it is. The reality is it can never happen unless you have people on your city council that have not stood their ground and been vocal enough and standing strong for the people. That's the most important thing in this whole matter. This question of reparations, we know Black Bottom had it displaced 100,000 people, hundreds of black businesses displaced, destroyed black economic empowerment. That's why we're suffering from it now. Yes. And so basically what we want to understand is, I'm for reparations, but what I'm not for is our tax dollars paying for sins that others committed. And so we've got to make sure that we look at the idea of bringing more revenue into our city treasury. Why? Because money is like 95% of our issues, shortage of resources, etc. And that's why as mayor, I focus on bringing in revenue. Our platform is bringing in revenue into our city treasury, into the pockets of Detroit residents. That's the proper way for us to look at what we already have, that we can improve the quality of life for Detroiters. I think Black Bottom scenario, we need to also make it open to, if with this I-375 project, we need to make sure that black builders and developers have a good share and skilled labor in that development. We need to make sure that we have an opportunity to have our own entrepreneurs in that community because it was gentrified. And I have to say, people, when the city is nearly 80% black, the only way gentrification can even happen is if it's through someone who looks like you. So the policies of the mayor is clear. He knew and understood what was happening in Detroit. Don't think for 1 minute we can accept that language that he didn't know or that he didn't accept it. You know, standing up to Trump is very important. As mayor, I'd be the first one they'd have to arrest. I'm about people's rights, city rights. Nobody talks about, you know, we hear talk about federal rights, states' rights, where there's city rights as well. And somebody has to stand up and let you know that the city has a right to solve its own problems and issues. If your state government doesn't help you, if your federal government, self-determination is the name of this game. We have to become a proactive people, self-determined to make Detroit what we want it to be. You know, making the Detroiters whole, that's pretty easy, but understand, some candidate, we have a $3 billion budget. Somebody got to tell you how they're going to bring revenue into our city treasury to solve these problems. Detroit is facing a shortfall already, and so the future is not going to improve until we find ways to diversify our economy so that we can address those issues. And lastly, you know, making sure that those funds get to where they're supposed to go, that's up to the mayor and the city council to make sure that we find ways to lower overhead, operational costs, to get that money directly to the people. For the people who are having trouble getting homes all over the city, I see that they don't qualify for the project, for the homes. And to change that opportunity, we have to make sure that we change the criteria and make it very easy for people who need homes to get homes. What I'll do is implement, if you can show you paid your rent for so long, that should be a high indication that you can pay for a mortgage payment. Also the fact that if we take the financial literacy course to assist them along the way as well, and also to make sure that these homes are affordable, we want to introduce a 35 to 50-year mortgage opportunity to make sure, because right now, to rehab homes and to build new homes, inflation is a big issue on the building materials, and so by us extending the time to buy the home, then it makes it more affordable for the people. Also, when it comes to, we can also bring in universal basic income. When we find revenue, I'm the only candidate that's actually involved in dealing with corporations and bringing them into Michigan as well as across the water. So we need someone who really knows how to attract those new companies so that we can increase our revenue. And once we continue to increase our revenue in the city, now prosperity can come to the city. As long as you have land, water, and the ability to make cheap energy, that's the recipe for prosperity, people. So what she shared about the land, as long as you have land, you have money. The priority should be for the people, and the way it has been for the last 30 years, the corporations and the rich have been getting rich off of Detroit City assets. And I will bring those assets back to the city of Detroit, okay? The water, I'll bring that water back as the first day as mayor. 54 years of domestic and international business. I'm the candidate that can bring companies into the city of Detroit. I've done it. I've done 2 delegations to China, the largest one to the Middle East. Your governor just come back with a deal from one of the initiatives that we opened. The most important thing is this, Detroit, is that we have the opportunity to put billions of dollars into our city treasury if we open up an opportunity to start our own housing manufacturing plant where we can create 10,000 jobs. The land is there. Somebody's going to make the money. Do you want outside developers to make that money? Or do you want those jobs and opportunities to come to Detroit residents? That's the key to this whole thing. Detroit has a reputation of voting against itself. You're either going to vote for money to be put in your pocket, in our community's pocket, by understanding $9 billion. The land bank now has 60,000 lots. Multiply that by 150,000. See the number. We can have some of those billions in the city of Detroit.
Yes.